Hello, my name's Andy and welcome to the garage. Here's today's restoration, a motor racer from the late 20s, early 30s, Dinky Toys, Spirit of the Wind. I think it's number 23. Now this wasn't an outright speedster, it was more of an endurance racer, this one, after a little bit of research. And there'll be more of that later. So let's get on with it, shall we? Well, here we have our Spirit of the Wind model. 2 rivets, bent front axle, no tyres, pretty simple. So let's get a drill on it straight away, shall we? And endeavour to take those rivets out. That works quite easily. Done there. Slowly does it. Hopefully that's enough. And indeed it is. That is wafer thin. That is wafer thin, that. To reveal some really thick posts, which is nice to see. So we just need to get these wheels off now, and they don't look too bad. So go down with the file. Sorry, you can't actually see the business end of that. It's at the wrong angle. How's that? Working at arm's length here, so it's not the ideal filing position. Hence it might look a bit ungainly. Funny enough, no, we haven't. You've seen me do that loads of times, so I'll file these off and then get back to you. Right, got the axles off. I'm not sure of the casting line, there could be one up there. And along the bonnet, maybe at the top of these side panels, certainly at the front there, maybe all the way. Need to do some research on this car before we start filing anything off. That is straight into the caustic. As I said, the base is wafer thin for a Dinky Toy. Maybe some casting lines to do, and we need to do a little bit of research, but this can now go in the caustic. Here we are with our endurance racer. It's all polished up quite nicely, just a few rough edges on the bottom either side, around the front and the top, nothing major. Now I found out this was a 1952-56 model. Mine had the wheels peened over, so it's a later version, even though it's got the 23E number on it. I've yet to drill this hole, but overall it's looking quite a nice casting. Now the original ones I think were clear silver. I think I'm going to do this one in blue or red, because there was a blue or a red version. I've yet to source some tyres for it, but it's a nice casting. It's a simple casting. It looks like the driver's always been sort of browny colour, and the windscreen's been silver. It's not an entirely accurate model. There were petrol tanks either side of here in the pictures I've seen. Got one there and one there. I've toned those down a bit, but a nice simple model to do, and I do like these racers. Though this was a bit of a different racer. This was an endurance racer with a Rolls-Royce Kestrel engine in it, but without the supercharger attached. So it was a second-hand engine from Rolls-Royce that the guy used. Anyway, more of that at the end of the video. One thing I do need to do is flatten out that plate, because as you can see it's got a bit of a bend in it. Let's flatten it out a bit better, and we'll be painting that black. So it's off to the paint shop for those, which is really just a corner in the garage, to be honest. So here we are, just drilling that last hole. Right, let's get that started. We'll move to a bigger drill. Right, that should have made the hole big enough for a rivet. Right, let's take a look, see if that hole's big enough now. That goes in nicely. Just a bit more to do at the other end. Right, let's see if that was enough for that rivet. Oops, fingers and thumbs. Just a bit more, a few millimeters more. Sure, that's going to do the trick. And indeed it does. What I will do is I'll just flatten those ends off with this small grinding tool. That's that done. As you can see, our racer is out of paint, and that is hardening. We can't do the detailing on that yet. It was painted with Colour It Beautiful blue on top of PMA white primer, and it was just a gloss black on the base. Now we have to turn ourselves to the wheels and axles. Looking at pictures, I think they were a dark grey, so I've got this matte grey. It looks grey to me. And the axles, you can see that need straightening. So that's the next job. We'll straighten the axles. So we've got this bentle pen here, so put it on a straight edge and just you can see it's pretty straight away. Check the other end, and if you've still got the peen on, just put it over the edge like I have, over the bar. Keep that as it was, and that's straightened up nicely, if you can see it there. Okay, we're just going to paint the wheels of our endurance racer a matte grey. Now they didn't need much work. There was no casting lines on the inside to tidy up the wheels. Just a bit of cleaning to do and a bit of filing on one wheel. Just got a bit of masking tape here to stop them falling down. What I can do, because I've got that there, I can quickly turn them over and do the other side. Thick the paint on that one, don't want that. So I'll finish that off, and the other thing I'll have to do is just polish the axles. One thing you may notice is some of these wheels, that one and this one, quite worn. There's no pattern on them compared to, say, this one I'm painting now. So I'll have to be careful which way I put them back on. So I've got a bit of 180 to polish the axles. You can put them in drills, etc., but sometimes this is just as quick. It's quite a harsh sandpaper this for modelling, but we're only taking the tarnish off. We've Not going to lose any details on axles. So that's one done. You can see the rust's off anyway. This is one of those things where there is more than one way of doing stuff. What I might do is just give them a bit of metal polish and they'll be good to go. As you can see, we're back with our Spirit of the Wind endurance racing car, painted in Colour It Beautiful Blue. The wheels were done with Humbrol Matte 32. So there's a bit of detailing. I'm keeping it as original as I can, and there's only really the driver to paint, and I'll be doing him in this mahogany when we've got it all back together. So the first thing is to get the axles back on the model. The axles are actually go through the body, so gently do that. Front first. And get a second wheel on. And then we've just got to pin that over. So I'm about to put a bit of protective card down. Just going to give it some gentle knocks. As you can see, our wheels are pinned on. We can put our tyres on. Might need to put these in a bit of soapy water, I'm not quite sure. Hot water. No, they've slid on fine. It's nice to try and keep original parts, but it's not always possible. That's the better side of that one, I think. That's the worst of the tyres. So she's a roller. So we've got the detailing to do and to put this base on, which I am going to use rivets for. So that is the next stage. Just drop it off and we'll get some super glue. Right, here we go with the super glue. I'm just going to drop it in from a cocktail stick. A bit more control. There are deep holes on these rivets. Right, super glue's in. Let's pop the base on. And just drop the rivets in. And we'll just wait for that glue to go off, and then we can do that bit of detailing. Detailing can now begin. Not sure if I've got the right brush for this, but find out. So here we go with the detailing, and it's just this driver. And there we are. We've just painted our driver. I hope you saw some of that. And we'll wait for that to go off, and then the next time you see this will be on the turntable. This is what we started with. Dinky Toys number 23E, Spirit of the Wind. No tyres. Not too badly done on the casting, to be honest. some casting lines, but nice one to do, this one. Nice simple one, and I do love these early racers. So let's see what we ended up with, shall we? Well, here is our Dinky Toys 23E Spirit of the Wind Endurance Racer, produced between 1936 and 56. I think this one is a late one, early 50s. It's got the 23E plate, but I think it's really a 221. Anyway, let's find out a bit about the car. It was a record-breaking car of the 1930s, built and driven by Captain George Easton, with a V12 Rolls-Royce Kestrel engine without the supercharger. It was really too large and heavy for circuit racing and too underpowered for absolute speed records, so it was an endurance car taking part in 24-hour average speeds trials, etc. Unusually, it has a surface radiator. You can see there just in front of the driver for cooling. That rounded sort of thing there, you can see it. It had two nostrils at the front for headlights and for air intakes. And the actual car was destroyed in the Second World War in a bombing raid by the Luftwaffe. I've tried to keep this one original. I do hope you've liked it. It's not been easy to paint despite its simplicity. There's a lot of awkward curves and lines on that car. I leave you with the Dinky Toys Spirit of the Wind Endurance Racer from the 1930s, and I look forward to seeing you next time for another restoration. If you can, please like and subscribe. I'm struggling to get subscribers at the moment, so just hit that button if you don't mind. Thank you, and goodbye for now.